Good evening and welcome to Big Future Live. Tonight's focus is on supporting Native and Indigenous students as they plan for life after high school. You'll have the opportunity to hear from students and professionals who are more than ready to share how to navigate the college and career planning process while staying connected to our communities and cultural values. So I hope you have your questions ready, and I'm glad to welcome you to Big Future Live.
Everybody starts somewhere, and life after high school is your first step to what comes next. So while everyone's future may look different, and there are tons of options to choose from, just remember it's getting started that matters. And Big Future is here to help you take the first step. You can check out careers you're interested in, find colleges based on what's important to you, and even discover ways to pay for it all. So when you're ready to get started, Big Future has the information you need to make the right decision for you. Because when life feels uncertain, your future doesn't have to. Let's begin exploring. Your future, your way.
Newakoha, Okonomeki, Netochipia, Shenameko, Nechi, Nechai, Kanaki, Meshkuyaneg, Ochipiaki, Sean Menis, Ishisoa, Nekia, Onikith, Ishisoa, Noswa. Hi, everyone. My name is Tama Menis, and I come from the Meskwaki and Sac and Fox Nations. I currently reside in Oklahoma, but my family comes from Tama, Iowa. My mother is Sean Menis, and my father is Keith Menis. My grandmother is Bernadine Lasley, and my great-grandparents are Martin Davenport and Louise Morgan. Lastly, I am on the Big Future team here at the College Board, and I'm going to be your host for the evening, the hostess with the mostest. I am so excited to welcome you to our very special event, Native and Indigenous Students Plan Your Next Step. Before we get started, I just want to thank everyone so much for tuning in tonight. I know everybody has lots of busy schedules going on during this time, and we're so excited that you have decided to share the space with us. For those of you who don't know, Big Future Live is a series of virtual community events where we connect you to college reps, career experts, and peers to help you plan for life in a way that's best for you. Big Future Live was created so you could get your questions answered, so you could start planning your future your way. And don't worry, tonight's not going to be super boring. We don't have a really long presentation or a huge PowerPoint slide prepared. This is just a virtual community powered by students like you, caring adults like you. And if you haven't gotten this yet, the questions that you have come prepared with. Tonight's event is just part of a larger series that we're calling Community Nights, where students and parents can bring their college and career questions, get personalized answers, and hear experiences, all from unique perspectives. These events are designed to help students plan for their futures while keeping their communities at the forefront. We only have a short 45 minutes, and we have lots of folks with us here tonight. So we're going to go ahead and get started and introduce our lovely guests for the evening. I will ask each of you to introduce yourselves. So when you do so, please say your name and tribal affiliation or background, what you do or where you go to school, and then lastly, in one word, how you would describe your college and career planning process as a Native or Indigenous student. Kapiolani, we'll start with you.
Aloha mai kākou, ko'uino Kapiolani. My name is Kapiolani. I am Kanaka Maoli, Native Hawaiian, also Haida and Tsimshian. I'm Eagle Clan. I work with the Judd Foundation as a Canvas advisor for the Northeast region, colleges and universities in the Northeastern region of the United States, and we support student mental health on college campuses across the United States. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Angel, I'm going to pass it over to you next.
Dagotashi Angelisa Hoffman Gonzalez. I come from the White Mountain Apache tribe and the San Carlos Apache tribe in Arizona. I am currently going to school for my Bachelor of Science in Forestry at the Northern Arizona University. And my journey so far in this college career I am pursuing, I feel like it's resilience to me. So hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you guys.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Angel. Resilience, love that word. That's the name of our Native and Indigenous Affinity group at the College Board. So that's great. Now I'm going to pass it over to my good friend, Dr. Pula.
Dr. Johnny Pula. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Johnny Pula. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm a citizen of the Delaware Nation, but I'm also Kiowa, Comanche, and Cherokee Apache. And I'm happy to be here, so excited to be here. I am the Director of Student Success for ASIS, the American Indian Science and Engineering Society. And I live and work remotely in Anadarko, Oklahoma. And looking back, when I was going to college, I remember the word I would describe it is excited.
I love these words. Okay, great. And then unfortunately, we have one more guest who was not able to join us on camera, but they are here auditorially. So I'm going to pass it over to Tash to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Natasha Martinez. I am from the Diné tribe. I'm currently residing in the Rayma Navajo in New Mexico, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And my career path right now is a mental health counselor. I work among the child and adolescents as a mental health counselor, specializing in art therapy. I am also a part of the American Indian College Fund Student Ambassador for 2023 and 2024. And describing my process as planning for college, I would describe it as nervousness and I guess chaotic, but in the end, it's more of a beauty. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about each of your experiences. Now, tonight's Big Future Live, like I've mentioned, is all about getting your questions answered. But before we get to your questions, we actually are interested in what you're hearing about today. So here in just a second, a poll is going to pop up on your screen. So whether you're interested more in planning for college and learning about how your identity and tribal affiliation might influence planning for college, how to explore careers and how to keep your community and community values in mind while doing that. If you're more interested in just general resources or maybe mental health and well-being. Of course, we had to include in all of the above, which I think is probably going to be a very popular option, but we are interested in seeing what everyone is here excited about. While you guys are answering that quick poll, I'm going to quickly go over how tonight is going to work. So at the bottom of the screen, there is a question box where you can submit your questions. We have lots of Big Future folks on the back end who are monitoring all of your questions and hoping that we can get to as many as possible. And don't worry if you miss anything during the event or have to walk away from your computer to take a phone call or anything like that. The recording will be available later on demand at bigfuture.org/live. All right, let's see if those survey results are in. Oh, look at that. I am a psychic. All of the above. Everybody is interested in all of the things. Well, you are at the right place. Okay, great. We are going to dive into some questions. And it looks like, Kapiolani, I have a question for you from Dina. Let's see. How common do hate crimes or crimes in general occur against Native or Indigenous students on college campuses across the United States? How worried should I be for my son to be away from his family and community? Really great question.
I'm hearing that's probably from a parent, so I understand your concerns as a parent and how scary that would be. So in my experience in working in higher education, I've been in higher education for about 20 years working with Native students and Native communities. And I would say that while I couldn't know the answer straight away for all college campuses, I think that in instances where there are a larger number of Native students, and maybe a lack of awareness of the existence of Native students and discrimination occurs. Just like with most populations, there may be more instances of bias if the campus is not connected well with the campus safety and public safety, and communicating with public safety about some of the ways that marginalized students, including Native students, might be impacted. And of course, we all know if we are in urban versus rural communities, that instances of bias may occur more in rural communities more than they do in urban. So I think the key to this parent here is for you to talk with your campus community, talk with public safety when you get to know them on campus at their family orientation. Talk to them more and ask them questions about what support systems those campuses have in place for your students in the instances in terms of addressing bias, and if they have a bias reporting system. Most colleges that have that bias reporting system will closely track those incidents that occur and support students when and if that happens.
What a great response. Thank you so much, Kapiolani. That leads us into our next question for Dr. Pula. How do I find campuses that embrace diversity and provide a supportive environment for Native students?
That's a very good question, and I'm glad that the student is thinking about that, because that's a very important factor of the campuses when selecting a college. So we always tell our students. I would say, first of all, if a student is capable, if they have the privilege to travel, I would say a visit, like a site visit, is probably the best way to explore the campus, get a feel of the campus, and to visit all parts of that campus and see if they have those centers and those places that support our students and for their success. I think that would be like my first response, but I know that's definitely not possible. You know, there's students going all over the nation. I would say if you could, do, like, they have virtual tours as well now because of COVID. There's a lot of virtual things that have came about to visit campuses. That I would also just check to see if they have those key centers. I think one of them is, of course, if they have centers for diversity there on the campus, or especially if they have a Native American student, building or a center, that would be really great and helpful for the students. But yeah, I would just check out those sites and see what they have available for students, and then see if they have those centers available. I think that would be the best. And there's so much information online now on their sites. Universities and campuses have been really good about providing a lot of virtual things and a lot of information about those centers and places where you can find that support. So that would be, I think, the best. And also to, ask around, like, we're in social media now, like you could probably find friends or somebody that goes there or somebody that's connected there. I think get a firsthand, insight into how that campus is. How do they treat students? How do they react to different things like violence, or if there is violence on their campuses? Probably that's a good way too. Like I said, use the internet and like social media as much as you can to get these answers. I think that would be good. But like I said, first of all, I think if you can visit, that would be the best way.
That's great advice. There's a lot of great resources, like Dr. Pula was saying, online to do virtual tours or to hear like POVs or personal experiences from actual students. So great suggestions. Angel, I would love to know if you have any additional insights on the two questions that I've asked before. So please feel free, if anything sparked while Kapiolani and Dr. Pula were talking, to speak to that. But I do have a specific question for you from Sarah in the chat. She is curious to know what should Native students be thinking about as they're thinking about college and career planning?
So generally for me, it took me a while to find my passion. So I live on the reservation, and I was thinking about like what needs to be done. Like there's so much impact every year annually on my reservation, fire, ecological degradation and all that stuff. And I was thinking, I want to come back and contribute back to the Native community. So that's why I am actually pursuing my degree in forestry. And I'm hoping that I am motivating other students out there across Indian country to go into their higher education. And with Dr. Pula, when I first came on the university campus, I did walk around and looked at resources. The first couple of weeks I was there, they introduced different clubs. There's a Native American club that I'm actually a part of, and I like to go over there and speak and hang out with people that are Native American or indigenous communities. And also I speak to the peers there. They're like mentors. They're like around our age, if you like feel like you need insight or mental health or you need advice, you can go to them also. Then like I just said, college and career planning, it took me a while to find my passion. You want to do something you're going to wake up to every day, loving your job and what you want to do and help your community or just for yourself to benefit yourself, So that's how I am. And I am still pursuing my degree in forestry, and that's my goal, just to come back and help my surrounding, not just my tribe, but surrounding communities also.
Sorry, I had the embarrassing moment of trying to come off mute, which is always the worst. Natasha, I am going to bounce the question over to you also. Curious to what you might think about what Native students should be thinking about in college and career planning. Angel, I really loved how much you spoke to community. I think that theme really resonates. Obviously, these are our community nights, but within all of us feel a real passion to give back and to continue that. So with that being said, Natasha, how do you think students should think about college and career planning from a Native perspective?
I think finding a support system, maybe someone who has gone to college as well, and listening to their experiences and stories, even elders who have went to college from past generations, and listening to the differences and how everyone has adapted to college. And also, what helped me was the Native Pathway guidebook. It is on the American Indian College Fund site, and I wish someone had put something together like that. It's a guidebook for college students, Native Americans coming out of high school, and it just talks about some of their experiences while in college and who are starting college. Again, finding your passion, as what I said earlier, finding your passion and also knowing the difference between passion and survival as Native Americans, and just knowing the difference on that, and maybe just experiencing some like internships, jobs, maybe getting the feel for what path you want to create for yourself, and also looking at time management.
Oh my goodness, I knew that Natasha was going to deliver, and she did. All of the good resources and advice. I particularly love that you called out the resource hub that the American Indian College Fund has. I know that ACES has a similar one for STEM students. The College Board is really excited to announce that we are also launching a resource hub for Native students. Tonight is actually the launch of that, so it's like a perfect segue. And I have a little, actually perfect timing for our commercial break, so I appreciate this transition. But this hub was inspired by College Board's Indigenous College Planning Guidebook, a resource that was developed by separate cohorts of Native college students who are serving as summer interns at the College Board. That's actually how I got my foot in the door here. I was a summer intern back in 2019 and helped develop the physical copy of that we sent around. And we had felt that the knowledge was really important to share, similar to what Natasha and what everyone has been speaking about, that we learned in our own journeys, and to share that with those who are going after us. So we put all of the lessons that we learned into that guidebook in hopes that it would inspire other students. And we today have digitized that guidebook so it can serve as an additional resource for students and caring adults. Hopefully you can see on the screen here the guidebook. You can either scan that QR code or you can click the link that's actually in the resource section in the question submissions box. But that's enough for the commercial break. We're sponsored by Big Future. Let's get back to questions. I have a question for Dr. Pula. This is perfect. Are there dedicated sites that can help us navigate other financial aid options for students? I know that we spoke just a little bit about a number of them, but if you would like to add some specific details, that would be great.
Yeah, and you said specifically for financial aid support?
Yes. The beginning of the question is, our tribe does offer scholarship opportunities, but are there other sites that provide additional funding for Native students?
But yes, there's actually a group called the National Native Scholarship Providers, and we are the 4 largest scholarship providers for Native Indigenous students, college students. And so they are made up of the American Indian College Fund, COBEL, ACES, and also Native Forward. So those are the 4 largest scholarship providers. So we get together and we work on different projects, but we all have scholarship sites on our pages, our websites, and we provide scholarships to our students. ACES, we have our sites, we have some different videos on there to help you. We also have a guidebook. I also know the Native Pathways is a really good resource, and they have amazing scholarships at the American Indian College Fund. COBEL has amazing scholarships too, especially for their grad students and doctoral students. Amazing ones, actually. And so does Native Forward. They have really great scholarships. And so I encourage you to check out all of those sites. They're amazing. You can stack them. You can, for ACES and for COBEL, we have the same scholarship platform. So once you fill out your general application, it goes to both organizations. So it's kind of like 2 for 1. But I encourage you to check out those sites. As far as resources too, you can also check out our different pages or organization pages. But I encourage you also to check out, there's different state sites that provide great information too. So for whatever state you're in, they do have some great information about financial aid within your state as well. So that would also be another option. And also, I know that College Board has done some really good work too for financial aid information and resources as well. So I think that's a great site as well. But yeah, I would just say, just check everything out. And FAFSA, the FAFSA site has great information as well. There's tons of information. Sometimes I think it's maybe too much, but I would definitely know that there's help out there, and you can go to any one of the organizations. They would be happy to help you. Any other resources there, they would be glad to help you and support you. I would just encourage you, if it's financial aid, just apply early, get it all done, do as much as you can. College is expensive, and you need all of that support you need, financial support. So reach out to as many places as you can, apply as many times as you can. Do the most. Do the most for that. That's what I tell all of our students. And like I said, if you needed any more directed support, like I think any one of the 4 NNSP groups would be very happy to help you in that area. We know that's a major hurdle, and sometimes that's a big barrier for a lot of our students. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help and support our students because we want to help our Native people. All of us do.
Thank you, Johnny. That was fantastic. And one thing that came to mind as you were talking, and something that I feel like I didn't realize until later into college, is that there is never something as too many scholarships. If you have, quote, too many scholarships, oftentimes, not always the case, it depends, but sometimes that money can help alleviate rent or go to books or food or what have you. So Just really want to reiterate that there's no such thing as too much scholarship money, and millions of dollars go unapplied for every year. So apply, apply, apply. Kapiolani, I have a great question for you from Isabella in the chat. It is, while I have found Reese's, I'm obviously hungry. While I have found resources for generalized Indigenous people, it has been rather difficult to locate resources for Indigenous Pacific Islander people specifically. Would anyone be able to direct me to a resource or a link for any additional resources? I think you may be on mute, Kapiolani. I did the same thing.
Did the same thing, okay. Isabella, thank you so much for that question. It's a great question. I think there are a couple of things I want to make sure that we kind of understand when we're talking about Indigenous Pacific Islander students, is that the way that certain scholarship funds are dispersed could be under various different labels. So you really want to think through, if you're looking for Indigenous Pacific Islander funding resources, think about what are other ways that funding sources might categorize themselves. And an example would be, a very common one is Asian American Pacific Islander. So you're going to have to, what's useful is if you do a Google search and you look up what are words for Pacific Islander, and more often than not, you're going to, AAPI is going to come up, Asian Pacific Islander American. And then within that, they're going to be scholarships specific for Pacific Islander students. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is, Dr. Pula mentioned this before, we're talking a lot about cultural centers or centers that support Indigenous students. So what you'll want to do is, if there are colleges that you want to go to that are in states with a high number of Pacific Islander students, for example, the University of Washington has a large Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander population, Utah, places like Nevada, California. Just take a look at those cultural centers, and those are really good resources for you to reach out to them and ask them specifically, do you provide scholarships or resources for your Pacific Islander students? That's a quick way to kind of to get information on Pacific Islander scholarships. And then top of mind, I'm thinking of the Hawaii Community Foundation is a really, they have a far reach to Pacific Islander students. The Kamehameha Schools Foundation is also really big. Mind you, they are Native Hawaiian, but they reach a large number of Pacific Islander students. So those are some key resources that you can tap into to find funding that's specific to your community.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Tima, I'm sorry. I want to add one last thing on that one. ACES, so my organization, our scholarships and our internships are open to Indigenous Pacific Islander Native Hawaiians too. So they have the same opportunities for our scholarships. All of our scholarships and our internships, they're open to our brothers and sisters, Native Hawaiian, Indigenous Pacific Islanders. So I just want to add that in there as well.
Thank you, Johnny, for adding that. Super important. My next question is for Natasha. Natasha, what student groups, cultural centers, and off or on-campus resources can enhance college or career work? Let me know if you need me to rephrase that.
Yes, please rephrase that.
I kind of stumbled, so I was like, let me make sure she got that. What type of resources, whether that's student groups at college or off-campus resources, help to enhance the work that you do, whether that's at school or in your career?
I think for me that helped was the school counselors. I think that's why I became a counselor as well. But they really have helped me to find resources for my path. They really guided me in finding that. And I think just like clubs as well, and just experiencing different activities and putting my foot into different doors while I was in college. Same went with high school as well. So they were kind of the same. And high school also had a school counselor and as well as off-campus activities as well.
That's great. I actually have a follow-up for you from Ricardo. How exciting. You talk about your career path. Does your Native background help you to better connect with your patients in your community, specifically with mental health? And more broadly, how has this played a role in planning for life after high school?
That was for Natasha, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, it did play a huge role in my tribal community, in my Diné culture. So that was kind of hard for me as well to kind of, I guess, connect the two. But I'm still learning along the way, learning how to connect both. But it just goes back to like your traditional teachings and the knowledge that you were brought up with. So it did connect in that way. And then for choosing in that career path, I didn't really choose. It kind of just fell into my hands. And so some things work out like that as well. They, as Native Americans, we do believe in things like that. And, you know, like intuition and, you know, things happen for a reason. And so I think that was part of my career path and just my cultural background as well. I hope that made sense.
No, it definitely did. I want to open up the floor too, in case there's any other feedback about connecting your Native identity to the work that you're doing today. And specifically, there's that element around mental health. Kapiolani, I see you nodding. If you want to add any.
Yeah, I think it related to mental health, you know, I think it's really us as Native people, you know, it's, we have a lot of history, right, with mental health in our family lines. And I think that it's something that we always like try to use our cultural practices and our protocols to be able to balance out that and our mental health and sense of well-being, especially when we're away from home. So I think just what comes to mind for me is like a lot of Native students that I've worked with in the past, they would find ways to, you know, in the residence halls, for example, all of us have heard of us not being able to burn sage or cedar or any of the, if we do use those plants, any of those things. So they would work with me in the Native Cultural Center, and I would work with the residence halls and making sure that there was space created to support those students and being able to practice their traditions in order to have a healthy mind and a heart and a spirit. And so I think that's always really important, is that you may be far from home, but that's going to be really important, is to bring those things with you and know that you have the right to do that as a student, and you have the right to be able to ask for that support if you need it, if you need ways to balance your spirit out if you're struggling.
That's so great. And I think I could probably speak for all of us here, but I know we can all think about somebody that like really played that role for us, whether it was doing something as big as going on our behalf for like the residence hall example that you gave, but just finding somebody at the university that can help support you in a way that maybe traditional supports at a university don't necessarily meet. So I really appreciate that additional context. Dr. Pula, I have a question for you from Olivia. Out of curiosity, do you know if there are any colleges that pay full tuition for Native students? For example, all California state schools, and then do any other schools offer similar programs for federally recognized tribal members or descendants?
Yes, there are a number, and I could be totally wrong. Like, I don't know all the details. I believe Fort Lewis College in Colorado does. I believe Haskell as well. I believe there are some universities and colleges that if their federally recognized tribes were originally inhabitants of those lands, I think they also have some type of agreement where they will either allow in-state tuition or maybe even provide full tuition. I'm not quite sure. So I don't know all the details, but the answer is yes. The answer is, but you also have to research and identify those universities and colleges. I wish I knew off the top of my head all of them. I do not, but I do know that is a case for many college and universities. I think I just read Kansas State University is providing some type of program for the tribes that were inhabitants of that state of Kansas. I believe I just saw that in a post. But yeah, there are. I wish, what we need is a good resource where we could put all that information of all those universities and colleges. But I would just say to research and look those up, especially if your federal recognized tribe was original inhabitants of those lands. I think that would be a good indication. But yeah, it's just something you'll just have to look at, like search and ask around. But yeah, the answer is yes, there are some that either provide full tuition support or, like I said, they will allow for in-state college tuition based on the tribes and the lands in those spaces.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I've definitely seen like more of a trend. Whether it's I don't know if it was the Kansas example. I saw an example recently, but that's really exciting, and I'm glad to see that trend. Of course, want to give some space if there's anyone else that would like to respond to that before I ask my next question, or any other schools that we may not have mentioned. Okay, great. Oh yeah, Angel. Go ahead.
So there's like tribal community colleges and universities. I graduated from a tribal community college on my reservation. They're still getting accredited. There's in Carlos Apache College. They're under the Ta'ano O'odham Community College. And there's like, I think 32, 33 tribal community colleges or universities. And there's like a few that do have dorm or housing on site. Like Dr. Pula said, do your research. And most of them, I know one of the big school is Haskell too. So yeah, research.
Thank you, Angel, for adding that. I think everyone will probably have a response to this question, but I am excited to start with Kapiolani for this one. Do you have a mentor or someone who helped you get to where you are today?
Oh gosh, this was perfect. It's my Uncle Julian Argel, who I came from a tribal school. I graduated from Shiplashai Tribal School in Puyallup, Washington, and I really struggled. I actually didn't get into most of the colleges that I applied to. And my Uncle Julian helped me through the appeals process because he was working for Educational Talent Search, the TRIO programs, and he was able to provide the resources to support me. So I want to thank him. He's no longer here, but he's always in my heart. And he did this work, educational outreach. He worked, in fact, he was one of my first talks as a freshman at the University of Washington. When I went through the appeals process to get in, he took me back to my tribal school to talk to Native students. So my Uncle Julian was my mentor.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Really, really sweet. Angel, Natasha, Dr. Pula, want to open up the floor for that question too. Great. I do want to give a small shout out to my mentor, Dr. Heather Schotten, who is definitely the reason I am the person I am today and am here. So mentors do a lot, and make sure you try to find somebody where you're headed in your future. Okay, I have a last question for every single panelist. We're going to go in the same order that we did our introductions. So Kapiolani, apologies, you're going to go again. But if you have any advice for your 18-year-old self, what would that be?
Can I think about it and then pass it to, is it Angelisa?
Absolutely. Angel, are you good to answer?
Honestly, to my 18-year-old self, till now, I'm 25. I wish that I had all the resources that I know now. Back then, I didn't know much in high school because I just went straight into the workforce, and I didn't have much guidance on scholarships or FAFSA. So I want to thank the community college for helping me here to transfer to a university, and that was a huge step in my life because I sometimes wish I had a mentor when I was 18. When I look back, I wish I went straight into college or university. So if you're at the age 18, do your best in high school, do the best you can, find someone to mentor you, do your best researching. And I just want to say, I wish you guys the best in community college or university or tribal. Everybody has their own path.
Great. Thank you, Angel, so much. Dr. Pula, I'm going to go over to you.
Yeah, this is a good question. So I was trying to go in my head, like how many years ago? It's almost 30 years since I've been 18. So I'm old, but I wish, if I could go back in time, I think I would just be more bold. I would take more chances. I think, not that the University of Oklahoma is bad or anything, but, I wish, maybe I could have applied different places, or I, sought out different universities to attend. I just, that was like my only one I did. And now when I look back, I think, oh, maybe I could have, went to this school, or maybe I should have went to this school. But I, Angel said, I think everything happens for a reason. I've been very blessed with my pathway. But that was just one of the things I think I would just encourage my younger self, and for some, for our young people, just to be bold. Don't be afraid to take those chances and to go out there. You come from amazing, brilliant people, and your ancestors are with you. So don't be afraid to take those steps. Don't be afraid to be in those spaces where we're not usually there, or that you might be the only one. It's okay. You can be the first, and so don't be afraid. And I would just say, be your whole self. Don't be afraid to be just part of you and your identities. Do all of those. Make sure you bring your whole self to college, and explore your entire self and all of your identities at college. That was something else too that I wished I had done more of, and just got to be able to live more my full self throughout college and as I grew up. So that goes along with being bold and just being yourself, and don't be afraid to be everything that you're going to be, that you have a great pathway and there's going to be people to support you. So just be bold. That's what I want to say. And just be daring, and don't be afraid. It's going to be all worth it. And like Angel said, I love that she said things work out, and I think we always find where we're supposed to be as we get older. Like I said, it's been 30 years almost since I was 18, but everything worked out exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I'm very happy to be here. I think it all brought me to, well, not everything brought me to this, but I'm very happy to be here at this site and get to share that story with you all. So please, like I said, just go and make the most of your life. It's an amazing life, and you can do everything that you set your mind to.
Johnny, insightful as always. Thank you so much. Kapiolani, I am going to switch it over to you.
Yeah, same thing that Dr. Pula said. Number one thing, don't ever forget who you are and where you come from. Powerful people we are. So please always believe that.
And then lastly, just want to give it over to Natasha for some closing words, and then we'll end.
I think the same as well. Remember, also continue and learn your cultural background. It will provide strength in your journey. And don't forget to pray in the morning. That's a helpful one. And don't be hard on yourself. Be proud of your small accomplishments, especially challenge yourself and try new opportunities. You only get one chance. And one last thing is support system, whether it be place, person or thing, family.
Great. Thank you so, so much. I hate to close us. I feel like I'm wrapping it up prematurely, but we are actually just slightly over time. So I would like to say Ketabi to all of our guests today for joining us. And thank you for the students and caring adults and mom and dad, if you're watching, hey to you, and thank you for joining us. We'd love to hear how today's session went. After the event closes, you're going to be automatically redirected to a feedback survey. Please complete it to help us make our next events better. Let us know any feedback that you might have. And don't worry if you missed today's events. The recorded will be at bigfuture.org/live. And also, I just want to quickly tout December 5th, our new scholarship program is going to launch for class of 2026. So starting in December, sophomores, juniors, and seniors can qualify for monthly chances at $40,500 scholarships just by planning for life after high school on Big Future. Don't want to miss it. Thank you everyone so much for attending, and I hope you have a great night.